Hi, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. This is still new for me, this YouTube channel. So, anybody who's listening, I'm very appreciative that you are interested in what's going on in terms of what I have to say, and also what guidance is telling me to tell you. For those of you unfamiliar, guidance is just a word I chose to name a universal helper. Guidance just means help. And basically, it's just something that I seem to have tuned into messages that I get. And they're just, I honestly, I think it's a radio frequency that's always on, and that all of us can actually access the information. So perhaps as you listen to some of these YouTubes, if you are interested and listen to more, first of all, thank you. But if you do, you might actually notice that maybe none of the information is earth shattering. It's probably information that you've gotten from other sources. But I'm offering it in the way that I get it. And so maybe, it helps me, and so maybe it'll help you. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, well, enough of that. I wanted to talk today a little bit about emotions. I did my free, for all of you who don't know, I do offer free tarot readings on Mondays from 2:30 to 3:30 live on Facebook. And yesterday, somebody typed in how this is such an emotional time. And I really, of course, it's true. I'm sure, like me, like you, our emotions are all over the place. It's not just fear, it's anxiety and worry, and there's a lot, and grief, a lot of stuff to consider. For myself, I've been fighting not more sadness. I'm not going to say depression, more sadness that there are just certain things that I can't do anymore, and I just miss those things. And they're things that I used to take for granted. I mean, honestly, I had a friend actually ask me today, well, like what? And I said, honestly, something simple, not even big things, just getting in my car and going over to TJ Maxx and not even to buy anything. Sometimes I just go in there for 2 hours to get away by myself and get inspiration. And then I go food shopping and spend my money, my $100 on food, because I know I need that, as opposed to maybe something at TJ Maxx that I want to have, but I really can't rationalize spending the money on it. But anyway, my point is that I can't just, get in my car and go. I mean, I have that thought, but then I have to stop myself. It reminds me a little bit, that feeling actually, jump starting and having to stop myself, reminds me a little bit of how I feel that my dad died about 5 years ago now, I think. And I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I'm going to pick up the phone and call. And then I'm like, no, that's like that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. So anyway, just to say, I've been thinking about emotions and what, all over the map. And let me just, read you what guidance has told me about emotions. This might help you. It helps me. So here's what they had to say. This is what I say I downloaded. I think I like that word better than channeled. I just, something I downloaded. Emotions. Many believe that actions speak louder than words, but what speaks louder than actions? Sometimes one must get in touch with their emotions before they can act. Sometimes, in order to know what one must do, one must first contemplate what emotion is bubbling at your core. Your desire to figure out what to do regarding any situation is a righteous search. But if you are stuck, we ask that you focus on how you feel. We understand your search for resolution is solid, so it is your emotions that will lead you to act, and in this, you have opened a path where you can move forward with clarity and purpose. I really love that. I think sometimes we may not spend enough time feeling what we feel, not thinking about what we feel, but feeling what we feel. And right now, many of us might just be feeling. I mean, the emotions are up. They've risen to the top. Like my friend said, it's an emotional time. But what does that really mean? And I think, like guidance is saying, I think getting in touch with what those emotions are, it could change every minute, it could change every hour, but I think getting in touch, what I'm noticing is that when I get in touch with that desire, okay, I know it might sound small and insignificant, but when I get in touch with the fact that I can't get in the car and just go to TJ Maxx, uh, I allow for the sadness of that. It doesn't matter what I'm missing. There's a loss there. There's a sense that I can't. I'm unable to do something I want to do. That's loss, regardless of what the thing is. And I have to sit with that sadness for a while. I think we all know that when we bury our emotions, when we ignore that, when we just move along and just keep zipping through life without giving any kind of due to what it is we're feeling, eventually those feelings catch up with us. We know they do. I know they do in my life. They have me perhaps acting out in ways that are inappropriate. It spills over maybe into a bad mood. There are a lot of things. I don't need to go into the list, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So let's just raise a glass to our emotional natures. Let's not try to, like for me, I have to remind myself not to see them as the enemy, but offer to offer myself the grace of what they are trying to offer me, which is to feel actually more grounded, more connected to myself, rather than feeling like I'm moving in so many different directions, unable to really sink into what I truly feel, what my body's asking for, what my mind is asking for, what my heart is asking for. That's always the best way, I think, to stay more grounded, perhaps during these difficult times. So let's embrace our emotions. Let's try to do that. I think they're made worse when we try to hold them off or will them to go away. All right, well, that's enough from me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You might want to catch my free readings on Monday, Facebook Live, 2:30 to 3:30 Pacific Time here in the U.S. And that's it for me. Subscribe here if you'd like, and maybe ring that bell so you get notification of when I post these. Take good care. Thanks again.